Here I am at Magic's GitHub repository, github.com/polterguy/magic. In this video I'm gonna use the Docker images on my own development machine to show you how to get started with Magic. So I'm just gonna copy this Docker compose file, switch back to VS Code, create a new file and save it into my desktop as docker-compose.yaml. Right, so now I have a Docker compose file here on my desktop. And then I can go to a terminal window. See here, I'm in the same terminal window. I can write docker compose up. Now, at this point, of course, we're going to need Docker on our machine. As you can see here, I've already installed it. And this process is going to take some time, so I'm going to fast forward the video at this point. So now that Magic is up running locally, I can go back to my browser and I can go to localhost :5555. And then I can log in towards localhost :4444. Remember, Magic isn't one system, but it's actually two systems. There's a .NET Core backend and there's an Angular SPA frontend. The frontend runs on 5555. Backend runs on 4444. And your default username and password is root/root. So you log in with password being root. That's just initially because this brings you through the configuration process where you are assumed or expected to provide your whole name, and a new password, which you are supposed to be repeating. And then this sets up your system. Then you can choose what style you want to have or theme. I'm going to choose default now. And then you're going to have to provide your OpenAI API key. Now I'm going to go and create a new one. However, I'm going to delete this before I upload the videos. There's no point in trying to test it. Right, so I'm going to delete it afterwards. But you do need an OpenAI API key. And then the last setup step is to start the vectorization of the default model or type. The default model, you can actually see it in the prompt now, what it can do. And it's basically just the functions or the tools and the AI workflows that the vibe coding assistant depends upon. And there are 90 of these. You can create your own if you want to and tell the AI agent to save your own workflows if you come up with a particularly interesting workflow and you want to reproduce it maybe later down the road for some other project. But the point is that this is the last part of the setup process. And when this is done, I can start vibe coding. For me, I'm now into 4 minutes and 10 seconds and I'm already done setting up my system and I can start using it. So now I'm done. Now what you can do, you can click the quick start button. That button is going to do two things. One thing, explain to you everything it can do, obviously. But actually it's also going to seed the type, the LLM, with knowledge about all of its functions. So it's actually smarter sometimes when you do this first. However, now I want to create a full stack app. Make a simple to-do app. Name DB and module to-do. And create one table with description and with title and description fields in addition to a primary key. Then I need a CRUD API for all 4 CRUD verbs towards the database, and finally search for background images and let me pick one and create create a modern glass morphism from and for it. So now I provided more or less an entire specification to the system. So at this point, the system is going to act extremely autonomously, right? Because it already has like almost everything it needs to perform the task I gave it. But you can also tell it to like, hey, you know, before you execute a function, let me see what you intend to do. Yeah, you decide yourself really, you know, how much autonomy you want. So I'm going to choose now background image. Let's choose medium blue painted wall. Once you confirm, I'll create, I confirm. No, create it manually for me. Close this guy. Public, I don't want off. I want it to go fast. I don't want to spend your time having to look at me, you know, arguing with my LLM. I could have chosen SSO, OIDC, Gmail, you know, off with RBAC, whatever. Could have chosen between a million different off architectures or processes. So now it's creating my database and the table. And then it starts creating my CRUD HTTP endpoints. First, this is the create guy for post, then it's the get to read items. See, it's adding, you know, ordering, offset, you know, paging, and some basic filtering. And now it's done with the put, goes to the delete. I think that's the last guy, if I'm not entirely wrong. So it should be done fairly soon. And now it's going to start on the front end. As you can see, it's going to install the front end directly in my root folder. I could have chosen a different folder here, like for instance, /todo or whatever. You can have a million apps in one cloudlet. I need to emphasize that. You can create a million full stack apps and have inside of the same cloudlet. That means you have one server to serve every single one of these apps, right? Or you could install a million Magic servers too, if you want to. But the point is that each Magic server can host more than one app and more than one API. So let's see, now it is done. Okay, localhost, base URL. Let's see, and here's how to do that. Go grocery shopping. Bring wife, she needs dinner stuff. Add. Now if I refresh, you can see the items are in the database. I can edit the items. A little bit naive editing, obviously, with an alert or a prompt box in JavaScript. But this is a prompt engineering issue, and I could easily and rapidly tell it to change and use a modal dialog or whatever. Go release Magic Cloud video such that people understands how easy it is to use. Yeah. And that's basically the result. So it took me in total 9 minutes and 45 seconds in a video, I need to emphasize, where I was explaining everything I did, and I didn't have a single line of code. I went directly to the GitHub repo. The only thing I had from before was Docker. It's the only thing you need if you want to do Magic development locally. Only thing you need is Docker, and the only thing you need to create yourself is this little YAML file, which is a Docker compose type of file. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.